Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on 90s Plus. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. So getting into that forecast here for Denver, for Colorado, the basic story for us is we've got a fairly overall tranquil week of weather. Now, I'm a little terrified to say that. We all know that Colorado weather can throw us a wrench on short notice, but generally speaking, this week's weather looks fairly typical, fairly seasonal, and also notably drier than this past weekend and into next weekend as well. So overall, I would say for most of us, this is pretty good news. Temperatures in the 80s. It shouldn't be too hot. We do get a couple of warmer days, but those shower and storm changes pretty limited until I think about Thursday, Friday for us here along the Front Range. Speaking of the Front Range, you look off towards the west, and that's where things really already starting to bubble on up. Some of that monsoonal moisture streaming its way into the mountains. This is early here, folks, to have those big towers starting to go on up for us into the Front Range foothills, as well as you get deeper into the mountains. Some spots already starting to see a little bit in the way, some showers and storms. We do have actually some patchy fog around parts of the mountains as well this morning. I'll show you that on the satellite in just a moment. Now, yesterday, boy, DIA, look at this, 1.14 inches worth of rainfall. Wettest day at the airport, which is, of course, Denver's official climate site. So technically speaking, I know this is garbage, but technically speaking, it was officially Denver's wettest day in a year and a half yesterday, just about that. It was the wettest day at DIA since March the 14th of 2021. Those of you with maybe a little bit of extra weather knowledge, that date should set off a little bit of an alarm. That was the big blizzard of March 2021, which had so much water. We picked up 30 inches or so of snow, and that's why we had a lot of water that day. In fact, over 2 inches worth of moisture on that day. But still, the point being, yesterday was the wettest day since that huge snowstorm. Wettest summer day here in Denver, at least officially, and that's based off of airport observations. Wettest summer day, June, July, August, since 2014. Wettest August day since 2013. So pretty impressive stuff at the airport yesterday. That led to a bit of a nightmare. I can tell you firsthand, I didn't get in until 2 a.m. last night. I am running strictly on coffee right now. Thank goodness for coffee. Meantime, in terms of those weather headlines for your day today, a drier day ahead for us here along the Front Range. Still have some shower and storm chances, especially south and west of town, but for the most part, we are generally speaking talking about a fairly dry day for us here in the Denver area. So in terms of those storm chances for us in the immediate metro, I think we're probably to stay dry. It's as you head west and south of town where we got the best chance of seeing some of those showers and storms. Temperatures warm on up as we head through the rest of the week, and that could lead to maybe 1 or 2 90-degree days ahead for us later on in the week. Now, as you head on up into the mountains, you might notice if you've got to kind of squint there a little bit, but if you notice north of I-70 on up just north of Vail, that would be just kind of west of Rocky Mountain National Park, there's some of that fog. You can see it there on the satellite a bit faintly, but we do have some fog that's still trapped in some of those mountain valleys, and that could give way to some showers and some storms later on this afternoon, this evening. Already starting to see some of those bubble on up around Telluride, the San Juans, on east into the Wet Mountains. That's where, again, we have the best chance of seeing showers and storms this afternoon. South and west of Denver. In town, we probably stay dry. As I mentioned, as you get south and west of town, south of the Palmer Divide and west of the Continental Divide, that's where we got those showers and storms for this afternoon and this evening. And again, we could see 1 or 2 storms for us. Best chances will be for the Wet Mountains, the West Elks, the Medicine Bow Range, as well as on south into this Sangre Cristos. That's where you're going to have the best chance of seeing a storm today. Now, close look in here at the immediate Denver area. And again, in town, notice the future radar, we're probably dry in town. So for any of those happy hour plans, you're looking okay this afternoon. Maybe those, I don't know, I got a soccer game later on today. Looks okay for that as well. Whatever it is you got outside, I think we're going to stay dry in town. Again, you get along and west of the divide, of the Continental Divide, and the south of the Palmer Divide. And that's where you get the best chance of seeing a shower storm this afternoon. As usual, we'll dry things on up by about 7, 8 o'clock or so tonight, with those skies turning maybe a little bit gray south of town, but I think we mainly stay on the dry side after about 8 or 9 o'clock or so tonight. Temperatures right now, this is an indication of how much moisture, or how much, I should say, how much energy we have to work with today. And we'll get those temperatures right now, 70s, even on up to about 80 degrees for us. It tells us it's fairly mild up there, but mountains a lot cooler, and that's why I got. That's thanks to some of that fog that we've dealt with. Now, dew point, that's the amount of moisture you got in the atmosphere. This number, the higher it is, the more moisture you got to work with. And mid-50s for us here in Denver, that's actually fairly juicy in terms of the amount of moisture we have to work with. But we have some other limiting factors way up there in the atmosphere. It's a lot drier today, and that's why I think we're going to be talking about lower storm chances here in town. For your day today, 84 for us here in Denver. Isolated storm south and west of town. I think in town, as I mentioned, we stay dry. I would not anticipate any storms here in Denver. Maybe one or two. I'd say a 10%, 20% chance of a storm here in town. But again, I think for the most part, we should stay dry here in Denver today. Forecast highs, a lot of 80s eastern plains, 70s into the mountains, and near 90 for us in Grand Junction. And that 90-degree reading in Grand Junction, that's been of an indicator of what we could expect for your day tomorrow. Highs tomorrow should get on up to about 86 for us here in Denver, 85, 86, 87, somewhere in there. Isolated storms tomorrow does look drier than today, especially in the mountains. So if you're doing some hiking, you're heading up into the mountains, doing some camping, doing some fishing, something like that, tomorrow looks drier than today. Another note, by the way, I haven't mentioned this going back to today. The East Troublesome Burn Scar has gotten some heavy rainfall the last 2 days. I would avoid the East Troublesome Burn Scar by all means necessary for your day today, just because they've had a lot of water the last few days. It won't take much rain for that scar to lead to flooding. Now tomorrow, again, looks drier than today for basically statewide, including the Denver area. We should stay dry tomorrow, the high right around 86 here in Denver. That's right around where we should be for this time of year. Outside chance tomorrow that we get up to 90 degrees. If so, that would be our 53rd day at 90 or above so far this year. But if we don't get there tomorrow, we got a decent chance of getting there on Wednesday or perhaps by the upcoming weekend. Showers and storms return to the picture a little bit more earnestly for your Thursday, but it looks like Friday could be fairly stormy for us with some fairly widespread showers and storms. At this point, it looks like Friday will be the stormiest day of the upcoming week, with more widespread showers and storms for the weekend, and then early next week back to our regularly scheduled mid to upper 80s with isolated afternoon showers and storms. So again, fairly tranquil week ahead. Friday at this point looks to be the potential big day in terms of those shower and storm chances. Hopefully it's giving you a pretty good idea about what to expect as we head over the next few days. Meteorologist Greg Perez will have an update coming up at 9 News at noon. Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin's in at 4 and 5. And meteorologist Danielle Grant's in at 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, meteorologist Chris Bianchi, enjoy the fairly comfortable weather for your day today, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thanks again.